Joining me now, Missouri Republican Congressman and Chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, Representative Jason Smith. Representative Smith, now you were on fire yesterday over the media's coverage of all this, because obviously that's sort of, weighing in on all of this. Just from the perspective of the public, what's out? What are we hearing that's correct, and what are we hearing that's incorrect?
Well, let me just say, the bill that we passed out of the House, the big, beautiful bill, is the largest tax cut in U.S. history. It's also the largest cut of mandatory spending in U.S. history, and it's also the most significant welfare reforms in U.S. history. It's a great bill. It delivers for the American people. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax relief for seniors. It makes permanent the expiring provisions of Trump's tax cuts. It's important that we do not delay. Let's get the job done. The American people are depending on it, Charles.
So Axios ran a piece last night. It was titled "Big Thing, GOP Warning Shots," about the infighting happening among Republicans right now. Weigh in on the palace intrigue, because everything you talked about on the tax cutting side, everyone loves. But there are not obviously members of your party that love the spending part of this, where they say it's still part of a problem for a lot of them, enough that it could be derailed.
So we have razor-thin majorities in the House and the Senate. In fact, if you look at the percent of the House Republicans that I had to have to pass this bill, 215 to 214, I could only lose 1.4%. In the United States Senate, they have a razor-thin majority, but they can lose 6% of their colleagues in trying to pass it. Of course, they have to thread this very tight needle, and you'll have different members, whether they're senators or House members, that are on the ends of all different issues, whether it's the IRA credits, whether it's the state and local tax deduction, whether it's debt and deficit. But what I want to remind everyone, if we do not pass this bill, 207 million Americans will face a 22% tax increase, and there will not be $1 cut in spending. Not $1, Charles. We are cutting almost $1.7 trillion within the bill that passed out of the House.
There's no doubt there's a sense of urgency. It played a major role in the outcome in November. What about unique ideas? For instance, I'm reading about Senator Cruz floating this idea of stopping the Federal Reserve from paying banks interest, right? Essentially, what they're doing is they bribe banks not to lend to Main Street. For some reason, the Federal Reserve thinks prosperity in Main Street is inflationary, and we should stop that. And instead, put that money in the coffers of Treasury. That sounds intriguing to me. Are the ideas like that being taken seriously?
Well, that's a new idea. First time that I've really heard that from the senator. But we have to think outside of the box in every aspect, Charles. We need to make sure we grow this economy. We need to make sure that by growing the economy, like your prior individual that you were interviewing with, it grows the revenues. We do not have a revenue problem in this country. We have a spending problem. And the way that I judge that is by looking at the percent of revenues of GDP over the last 50 years has been roughly 17% on average. We're currently at 17.2% on average, but spending is where the problem is. Percent of spending to GDP currently is around 26%. And historically, for the prior 25 years, it was right at 20.
DOGE, the efforts of DOGE have been really become a hot button issue. Obviously, President Trump and Elon Musk seem to be rekindling their affection for each other. What's going to happen there? Because there was a lot of disappointment about the not being able necessarily to codify a big chunk of it. Some believe $9 billion is just sort of a drop in the bucket, but some big chunks, healthy amounts of money were identified, waste, fraud, and abuse, and the American public will love to make sure that never happens again.
Cutting the $9 billion in rescissions is just the first step. DOGE has done a good job over the last 4 to 5 months trying to find government efficiency, cutting out waste, fraud, and abuse. They cut Around $175 billion is what they've looked at. I like to point out, we cut in the big, beautiful bill almost $1.7 trillion. We got to continue to cut. We have to continue to look to government efficiencies. That's what we'll do. And in the big, beautiful bill, we're actually codifying numerous recommendations that President Trump has done by executive order and also DOJ has done. This is going to take some time. It's step by step, but we're going to do it, Charles.
Congressman Smith, you are on top of it. You say you're going to do it. I believe you. Thank you very much. Keep fighting. The clock is ticking. See you soon.
You can count on it.
All right.